Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why am I the way I am? Welcome back to Psyche Unveiled. Why do some people seem confident while others constantly doubt themselves? Why do we sometimes feel lost even when everything looks fine from the outside? Erik Erikson believed the answer lies in a simple but profound idea, that our entire lives are built around 8 stages of psychological development, and in each one we face a crisis, not a catastrophe, but a challenge that helps us grow. Every friendship, every failure, every late-night doubt you've had is part of a quiet, ongoing battle for your identity. And in today's video, we'll walk through Erik Erikson's 8 stages of life and discover how every single one of those crises shapes the person you become. So take a deep breath. This one might just help you understand yourself that little bit better. Before diving into the stages, let's meet the man behind them. Erik Erikson wasn't a typical psychologist. He was actually an artist first, a school teacher, and someone who personally struggled with identity. He grew up not knowing who his biological father was. His mother remarried, and young Erik often felt like an outsider in his own family. So it makes perfect sense that later in life, he became obsessed with one question: how do people form their sense of self? Working under Sigmund Freud's daughter, Anna Freud, Erikson expanded Freud's ideas about childhood. But he went beyond the unconscious mind. He believed that development doesn't stop at childhood. Instead, we keep evolving through our entire lives, each stage shaped by a unique challenge. That's what makes Erikson's theory so powerful. It gives meaning to every phase of life, from your first steps to your final years. Now let's dive into each one of the stages Erik developed. Stage 1, trust versus mistrust, infancy. It all begins with a baby. From the moment we're born to about 1 year old, we face our first crisis: trust versus mistrust. A newborn doesn't know much, but it knows whether the world feels safe or not. When a baby cries and someone comes, when it's fed, held, and comforted, it learns the world is trustworthy. But if the baby's needs are ignored or met with anger, mistrust grows instead. This stage teaches one of life's deepest lessons. The world can be safe, people can be kind, I can depend on others. And if trust is built here, it becomes the foundation of hope. Without it, even as adults, we might find it hard to believe that love or stability will last. Stage 2, autonomy versus shame and doubt, toddlerhood. Then comes the next big challenge, around ages 1 to 3. If you've ever seen a toddler shout, "I do it myself," that's autonomy in action. At this stage, children are learning independence, feeding themselves, walking, choosing what toy to play with. If parents encourage exploration, they build a sense of autonomy, the belief that I can do things on my own. But if they're scolded for mistakes or overprotected, they learn shame and doubt. They start to fear failure. And this can echo for decades in adults who hesitate, who second guess, who fear stepping out of line. Healthy autonomy teaches us to say, I can handle life, even when I stumble. Stage 3, initiative versus guilt, preschool years. Ages 3 to 6 bring imagination and curiosity. This is when a child begins to dream, to play pretend, to start little projects. But this stage also brings our third crisis: initiative versus guilt. Guilt. If children are encouraged to explore and make choices, they learn initiative, the joy of taking action. But if their ideas are dismissed or punished, they start to feel guilt for even trying. As adults, this can show up as hesitation, perfectionism, or an inability to start new things. Healthy initiative becomes the seat of purpose. It's the voice inside that says, I can start something new, and it's okay if I fail. 5. Stage 4, industry versus inferiority, school age. Now the child enters school, the first real competition zone. This stage, around ages 6 to 12, is industry versus inferiority. Here, kids learn to make things, solve problems, and measure their abilities against others. If they're encouraged, they develop a sense of competence. Industry. They believe, I can work hard and make a difference. But if they're constantly told they're not good enough, inferiority takes root. and that can lead to adults who feel they're always falling short, even when they're doing fine. The deeper truth? This stage teaches that effort matters more than comparison. That competence isn't about being the best, it's about believing in your capacity to grow. Stage 5, identity versus role confusion, adolescence. Then comes adolescence, the famous identity crisis. Erikson's most well-known stage, identity versus role confusion. Teenagers start asking the big questions. Who am I? What do I believe? Where do I fit? This is when we experiment, trying new styles, ideas, friend groups, even beliefs. If this exploration is supported, we form a strong sense of identity. If it's shut down or judged too harshly, confusion sets in. Erikson said this crisis isn't something to fear, it's something to navigate. Because without confusion, there can be no discovery. The key is freedom with guidance, letting people test themselves while knowing they're still accepted. A solid identity becomes the anchor that carries us into adulthood, a foundation of confidence and direction. Stage 6, intimacy versus isolation, young adulthood. Once you know who you are, the next question becomes, can I share myself with someone else? This is intimacy versus isolation, roughly from ages 20 to 40. Healthy intimacy is more than romance. It's the ability to open up, to be vulnerable, to let someone see you as you truly are. If a person enters this stage without a clear identity, they may fear closeness, leading to isolation. But if they've found balance, they can form deep, lasting relationships built on trust and empathy. In simple terms, you can't give love if you don't believe you deserve it, and you can't connect with others until you're comfortable being seen. Stage 7, generativity versus stagnation, middle adulthood. By middle adulthood, roughly ages 40 to 65, a new challenge emerges, generativity versus stagnation. This is the stage where we ask, am I contributing to something beyond myself? Generativity means creating, guiding, mentoring, whether that's raising children, building a business, or sharing wisdom. It's about leaving a legacy. Stagnation happens when people feel stuck, focused only on their own comfort or regrets. When we stop giving, we start shrinking. But when we help others grow, we stay alive inside. This stage reminds us that meaning doesn't come from success. It comes from service. Stage 8, integrity versus despair, late adulthood. And finally, on the last stage, integrity versus despair. This is the reflection stage, often in old age. Here we look back at our lives and ask, did I live with purpose? Did I love well? Did I grow? If we can accept both our triumphs and our mistakes, we reach integrity, a sense of wholeness. But if we're haunted by regret or denial, despair can take hold. Erikson called integrity the acceptance of one's life as something that had to be lived. It's about peace, not perfection. And maybe that's the quiet beauty of it, realizing that every stage, every crisis, every scar was part of your becoming. In a world that moves too fast, Erikson's stages remind us that growth takes time, that confusion, doubt, and crisis aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of progress. His model shows that identity isn't something we find once. It's something we keep building, testing, and reshaping throughout life. And here's the most comforting truth. If you missed a stage or struggled through one, it's never too late. Each day gives you another chance to rewrite how that crisis ends. Erikson's 8 stages aren't just chapters in a textbook. They're a map of becoming, one we keep walking through again and again, in loops and spirals, not in straight lines. You don't simply finish one stage and move on forever. Life has a way of circling back. Every relationship, every challenge, every turning point quietly echoes one of these stages. Think about it. When you start a new job, you're revisiting trust. Can I rely on these people? Will they support me? When you move to a new city or take a risk, you're tapping into autonomy. Can I handle this on my own? When you start a creative project, you feel initiative stirring again. That spark that says, let's see what happens if I try. Even in adulthood, the patterns of childhood quietly return, not to haunt us, but to invite us to heal differently this time. When trust is tested, we learn faith again. When intimacy is broken, we rediscover connection. When stagnation threatens, we create anew. This is what Erikson meant when he said development lasts a lifetime. Growth doesn't stop at adolescence. It just changes form. Maybe you've noticed, life keeps giving us chances to rewrite our old stories. Every time you forgive someone, you're strengthening trust. Every time you set a boundary, you're affirming autonomy. Every time you help someone else grow, you're living out generativity. The beauty of Erikson's map is that it doesn't judge where you are. You might be 50, learning to trust again. You might be 20, finally feeling seen for who you are. You might be 70, realizing that peace doesn't come from having no regrets, but from accepting the whole picture. And through it all, each stage gently asks you one question. Who are you becoming through this experience? The answer changes, but the process remains the same. We fall, we learn, we grow. One crisis, one chapter, one choice at a time. In the end, Erikson's theory is not just about psychology, it's about living consciously. It reminds us that behind every struggle lies an opportunity to strengthen the self. Behind every crisis lies the quiet whisper of growth. So perhaps the real goal isn't to master life's stages, but to meet each one with patience, curiosity, and courage. Because no matter what age you are, you're still in motion, still becoming the person you're meant to be. If this message spoke to you, stay with us. Our journey through the human mind continues. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who's still figuring out who they are. Because truthfully, we all are. And remember, every crisis is not a breaking point, but a turning point. You are not behind, you are becoming. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.